Moms demand action, and proponents of the bill, House Bill 5855, were in the room. Oh my God, they were so deep in the room. Man, they were deep in the room. Meanwhile, opponents of the bill, very few. Very few. And that's just for this meeting. Because there are meetings in Springfield and there are meetings. There was 2 meetings in Chicago, right? The first one, I believe, was in Springfield. The second 2 were in Chicago. And the last 2 are going to be in Springfield, a total of 5, I believe. Okay. So there's 2 more hearings on this bill scheduled in Springfield. I'm going to be going down to one or both of those hearings. Yeah. But in Chicago, the presence was not as strong for people who were proponents of the bill. So that's definitely concerning. Okay. The NRA was there. The Illinois State Rifle Association was there. Yeah, no, I agree, Eric. I agree, 1,000%. It's pointless. They're going to walk this through, Mike. This is just a brass and pony show. No, you're fine. It's all good. I agree with you. That's exactly what's going to happen. So for those people that are talking about, well, this may not pass, you don't understand Illinois politics. This is going to pass. It's going to pass. They got the numbers already. This is just procedural, right? Now, these hearings are important, but I'm going to give you more information, okay? NRA was there. Illinois State Rifle Association was there in terms of spokespersons scheduled to testify. Todd Vandermeer was there. Illinois Gun Owners Association together was there. The chapter, I believe, one of the National African American Gun Association members were there, but no one was. Yeah, fair enough. You say less. I already know. I know it for a fact too. I trust me. I know. So it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. Here we go. National African American Gun Association. Now, those of you all who have followed me, right, you know that I've been critical of that association, not for the fact that it represents African Americans, like some people want to put me in that box. That's not it. National Latino Gun Owners Association, they got an association. There are various associations that advocate for, people of a different culture or race, right? That's not the issue. But if you're gonna call yourself a national organization, you should show up in areas of importance to those you represent on a national level, right? And so, correct me if I'm wrong. If they did speak up, please let me know which meeting and when and what was said. But in this hearing in Chicago, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. I find that troubling, extremely troubling. They were not there. Also, who was not there? And if I'm wrong, correct me. No one ever catches the "if I'm wrong, correct me" parts when I try to remain neutral and fair in my arguments, but I'm still going to say it. Guess who else was not there? The U.S. Concealed Carry Association, USCCA, was not there, right? Now, I could also say CCW Safe was not there, right? But CCW Safe doesn't go in and infiltrate people's classrooms to advocate the importance of their products, right? I will say USCCA does. Now, why am I hard on USCCA? I'm hard on USCCA because with as much fervorance, if you will, right? If I'm using that term correctly, that you say in your speeches in these various classrooms, Chicagoans have to stand up. Chicagoans have to protect themselves. Chicagoans have to this, Chicagoans have to that, right? And I'm going to get critical on the NRA too, because the NRA falls in this same box, right? Where are you guys at? You're there to take the people's money for these various insurance problems, right? Well, here we go. You said USCCA will go where it benefits their pockets only. There's nothing to gain in Illinois at this point. I'm going to give you another thing to take into consideration, Dan, right? Another thing to take, because I'm telling you, That was my next point. I got my stuff written down. So come on now. We're going to have a good show. The advocacy against the ban and for the reasons, right? Horrible. Oh, my Lord. Horrible. 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 NRA's advocacy for more than just the gun, as well as the absence of USCCA, as well as the absence of the National African American Gun Association. Horrible. And let me tell you why. They love to use Black people to advocate that gun control is racist and that Ida B. Wells said a rifle should be on every table. They will use those things to spark the conscience of those who decide to put Black people's issues first because of political capital. But they're nowhere to be found in Illinois in ground zero to represent those who have actually been victims of crimes. And I'm going to tell you what they could have done. So tag your favorite USCCA instructor in this. Tag your look, this ain't a I hate Mike session, right? That's fine. You don't have to like me, but this is going to be informative because I'm going to give you a blueprint. I'm going to give you a blueprint of what they could have done that could have bolstered the testimony on the record, right? I'm going to give you something they could have used to bolster the testimony on the record. See, yes, it may pass. It will pass. It will pass for sure. But there are things that you can do to affect the hearts and minds of those to give them something to think about. And that's what's not being done, right? Next point, here we go. Justice for those who will be affected by this, right? The opponents of the bill will likely come from the Supreme Court of the United States via the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen case, right? So you're not going to get justice talking to them, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? You should still say what you need to say and get it on the record because it might affect, but it's going to pass, right? This will likely not be dealt with until the matter reaches the Supreme Court if they take it under certiorari. Yes, William, what I'm saying is this. Start right now looking for your 10-round magazines. Start right now looking for your 10-round magazines. Now, I'm going to tell you where there could have been some areas for negotiation. Come on, y'all. Stick with me. Stick with me. See, I can't. Some of you all want to sit here and say, Mike, get to the point. Well, I am a teacher, right? I'm not one of those curriculum regurgitating instructors. I'm an actual teacher. I'm an educator. So this isn't a hurry up and get to the point. So if you got to go, I understand. Catch the replay on the podcast, right? And I'm going to drop the link and you all are free to come up because I would love to get your opinions about this, right? Here we go. The House Representatives, Eric, are you still here? Please let me know you're still here. The House Representatives were asking for solutions from the 2A opponents of the bill who were in the panel. The representatives who were there were asking for solutions. And those who were there from the various organizations advocating for Second Amendment, they didn't have any solutions that I thought would be workable enough to give the representatives pause. And I'll get to that in depth. This is going to be a very educational show. Okay, so let's get to it. Sheriff Dart received a lot of criticism from those who were against the bill, right? And by the way, what's my position? I'm in the middle. I'm independent, okay? I am for the Second Amendment, but there's another part of this that we're not looking at, okay? And I understand here is going to be the show where if you're so Second Amendment, you can't see it from the other side, I lose your subscription today. I lose your followership today because this is a conversation that the 2A community is not necessarily having. And we need to have that conversation. Let's continue. Sheriff Dart was the most impactful speaker. From law enforcement, Sheriff Dart was the most impactful speaker. He was. And even though people gave Sheriff Dart some issues, not the state representatives, not the House committee, right? Not the people who are for the bill. The people who are against the bill had negative things to say about Sheriff Dart. I didn't. And let me tell you why. When we get to that section, it's coming up. It's coming up. Here we go. Representative Willis, Kathleen Willis, you know who she is if you're in Illinois politics and you understand the gun issue, right? Here we go. Representative Willis was open to defining the term large capacity. She said it on the record, whether it be 10, whether it be 12 rounds, whether it be 15, I don't know, right? She was open to the defining of that. I'm going to tell you where there could have been some negotiation, right? Even if we negotiated and got terms fixed and they still passed the bill, negotiation wouldn't stop you from still filing suit to get it overturned. You see what I'm saying? And this is what's troubling with the representatives who were there, because there was no give or take. There were no solutions that were really offered. You know, Ed Sullivan of the Illinois State Rifle Association was contradictory in one of the statements and questions that he answered from one of the representatives who asked him a question. And that too was troubling. When shootings happen, that's when these entities activate. Okay. So without further ado, those were, and I know I said 10, that's probably 11. All right. So let me go on ahead and dive right into the notes that I've taken. Okay. So those representatives who, all right,